Want to give a big shout out to Sports Illustrated for putting Nick Foles on the front cover of their magazine. That Sports Illustrated jinx is for real. You rat bastards.
Here I am, it's the on-campus kingpin, yes I am.
Eagle Sessions, Gayle, Saunders, SteamPost.com, talking the epic loss against the Minnesota Vikings. Not only did we lose, we got blown out 48-30. And what does that mean for our Eagles, folks? That means we are Green Bay Packer fans today, hoping that the Dallas Cowboys actually lose so we can continue that lead. But either way, the Eagles are now in control of their own destiny if they win against the Bears and they win against the Cowboys to close it out. But Eagle fans, you have to be scratching your head because we haven't seen a loss like this since week 4. We've held offenses under 21 points since week 4. And we are now like week 15. So obviously, we have to give hats off to Billy Davis and the defense and what he's done over the past several weeks. But today was, a different story. Can you blame it all on the defense is what I'm saying. I probably not. I think, the Eagles really started off slow in this game. You were hoping for more explosion out of the offense earlier on to put some touchdowns on the board. But that basically didn't happen. So, the biggest thing everybody is probably thinking in their head is, why did LeSean McCoy, the leading rusher in the NFL, only get 8 carries? It's a mystery all in itself. Chip Kelly basically said that he didn't see enough push from the offensive line against the Vikings defensive line. If he's being honest, he's being honest. In the first quarter, the Philadelphia Eagles slowed down the Vikings defense somewhat. They did get into field position to kick a field goal, which they missed. So the Eagles get the ball back and really don't do much. It's basically a 3 and out. So in the second series, the Vikings turn it on. The Vikings offense, first and foremost, they have Matt Asiata signed off the practice squad. They have playing tight end Chase Ford, a guy that was on the Eagles, squad for a bit. But they had Greg Jennings. So, basically Greg Jennings, like 11 catches or something like that on the game, which is crazy. Greg Jennings gets hit on a 57-yard touchdown pass. Basically, Nate Allen was being the Nate Allen of old, basically out of position. You got to blame Nate Allen and Patrick Chung on that play because they both looked out of whack. And hopefully we get Earl back soon because we need some help in that safety position. Now in the second series, the Eagles, showed a little bit life. They were moving the ball. We saw a heavy dose of Nick Foles running the ball. He had 3 rushes for 36 yards in that second series. We saw McCoy had a nice run. He had 16 yards on that first carry in that second drive. They had a 3rd and 11. Foles comes out with a 21-yard run, which was pretty huge. Now the Eagles get down by the red zone. They end up stalling. Jaron Allen comes up with a sack on Nick Foles on a 3rd and 4. And then Alex Henry gets a kick. The score is 7-3. In the third possession, the Minnesota Vikings come up with a 10-play drive. Ate up about 4.5 minutes off the clock. They end up with another kick by Blair Walsh, making it 10-3. Now, in the Eagles' third drive of that game, that's where the Eagles' offense finally started to smell the coffee, wake up. They're dinking and dunking. You start feeling the rhythm start flowing out of the offense. Foles has another sneak of 5 yards. It's now 3rd and 1. Then they get stuck. You're thinking that, the Eagles, it's 4th and 1. They're going to kick a field goal. But Chip Kelly is putting his balls on the table and say, I am Chip Kelly. This is what I do. Comes up with some trickery, folks. A double reverse to Deshaun Jackson. Now, Deshaun Jackson makes some nifty moves. The only problem is Foles, who didn't even have to make the block, goes low, and they call the touchdown back. It was a nice run by Deshaun Jackson, but they call the play back, and the Eagles have to settle for another 3, and Alex Henry kicks the field goal. The opportunity to tie the game up would have been huge at that moment. It is what it is. That is football. Now the Vikings, they already had a 10-play drive. The defense, the Eagles' defense has been on the field for some time. Now, in this 4th series, the Vikings really laid on thick. I mean, a 17-play drive. 7 minutes and 49 seconds. They take the life out of this defense in the sense, like, you're thinking this defense has been on the field a long time. And I thought that moment that I'm like, hey, if this defense doesn't get off the field soon, it is going to hurt us in the long run. Throughout that drive, there were so many third down plays where, they couldn't stop, the Vikings. You had a 3rd down and 1, Matt Asiata for a first down. You had a 3rd and 5, and then Matt Castle scrambles for a first down. You had a 3rd and 3, Cordero Patterson with another run for a first down. And then you get a 3rd and 5, and then they get a pass interference on Bradley Fletcher. So, they basically put the Vikings in a great position, and then they get Matt Asiata with a 1-yard plunge for a touchdown. In the Eagles' 4th drive, right before the half, the Eagles didn't have much time on the clock, and the Eagles basically had to come up with some kind of offense to get some points on the board. They hit Cooper on a couple plays. They come back and hit Deshaun Jackson on 2 plays. And then it's a 3rd and 4, and LaShawn McCoy makes a nice little catch, makes the guy miss, gets up the sidelines, 22 yards, and the Eagles get a first down. And then Alex Henry again. The Eagles are forced to kick a field goal. At halftime, the Eagles are only down by 1 score. Now the Eagles, pick a awful time to stall. It's the second half. It's an opportunity where you want to come back and punch the other team in the mouth, and it's a quick 3 and out. And what happens? The Vikings get the ball back and put points up again. Now Cassell, who's heating up, just hits Jarius Wright on a 42-yard bomb. Bradley Fletcher is, he has pretty good coverage, but again, he gets beat. Vikings are down by their own goal line, and for some reason, I'm not sure why, Cassell was left wide open to run it. There was no linebackers at home. The Eagles give Matt Cassell an easy opportunity to get a QB sneak, and now the score is 24-9. Now, 24-9, you're thinking the Eagles offense has to put some kind of drive together. Now, after Deshaun Jackson gets the first down, the Eagles have an opportunity to make some things happen. And instead, Foles is late seeing Deshaun Jackson. He could have hit him earlier, but he decides to throw it up. And when he had Chris Polk in the flat, and he decided not to throw. Polk was wide open. Could have been a 20-yard play, but he decides to go and throw to Deshaun Jackson. And that ball gets picked off by Prater, another Eagle cast off. It's 24-9. I understand Chip Kelly wants to get this offense going, but this is where it got really weird in the sense that you saw Chip Kelly, go for it on 4th and 1 inside their own 25. Our defense actually held the Vikings. You're now looking at 27-9. A series for the Eagles. This is where the Eagles start to really put it on and make some magic happen. Nick Foles hits Deshaun Jackson on a nice corner route, and then Deshaun Jackson adjusts with the ball in the air and makes a beautiful catch. Now the Eagles defense finally steps up and makes the play. Cedric Thornton blows up that offensive line, gets a tackle for a loss. On the next play, they get pressure on Cassell, and then Benny Logan comes up with the tip, but the ball comes up in the air, and Kendricks makes a beautiful interception. After the interception, the Eagles have a good field position. They come back with the first down to Ertz for 17 yards. Then the Eagles come back with a tight end screen to Brent Selleck for 25 yards. They're getting down by the goal line, and you're thinking, we are going to score. Ertz makes a ridiculous catch. Foles put a nice touch on that ball, but Ertz came down with this grab. Now you're thinking that the Eagles have this game in control. They're about to turn on the magic. And who better yet than Chase Ford? Third string tight end comes in with a 37-yard catch. Gets some good field position right down by the goal line. Asiata for his second touchdown of the game. Now the Eagles get the ball back. It's a 3 and out. They get hit with a taunting penalty, which is ridiculous. The Eagles end up stopping the Vikings again, getting the ball back. And here's where, the Eagles again come up with some magic. Now Deshaun takes a crossing route. I mean, he makes some guys miss. I mean, he's juking dudes out. He's definitely showing some heart. For 51 yards, Deshaun Jackson darts down the field. Jason Avant, they finally hit him for a touchdown. And the Eagles hit Riley Cooper on a 2-point conversion. The score is 30-41. And you're thinking maybe there's a shot. But, the Eagles do not make it easy. The defense, I swear, they're getting hit with taunting penalties. Kerry Williams, Cordero Patterson comes up huge in the end of this game. Has a couple catches. Then they hit Asiata again on a run for another touchdown, which is his third touchdown of the game, making it 48-30. Some notes on the day. The Minnesota Vikings, they had 3 drives over 10 plays long in the first half. And I think that really killed our defense. The offense had no rhythm in the first half whatsoever. The Eagles had 3 scores in their first 4 drives. Problem is, 3 of them were field goals. The first Viking punt came in 8 minutes and 22 seconds into the third quarter. Chip Kelly goes on 4th down twice in this game, and then the second attempt to 4th and 1 inside his own 25, which was a ridiculous call, but hey, that's Chip Kelly and the big balls right there. And the biggest was LaShawn McCoy, 8 carries for 38 yards. 8 carries. After last week's performance, you think the leading rusher would get more carries than that. Greg Jennings on the day, 11 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown. Penalties, 9 penalties for 94 yards. Last week against the Lions, the Eagles only had 1 penalty. The Eagles have to be way more balanced. On the day, we had 396 yards passing and only 79 yards rushing. I think that was a huge stat. I think if we were a little bit more balanced, we probably would have a better opportunity to win this game. Now, if we had problems stopping guys like Jarius Wright, Jerome Simpson, and Greg Jennings, what are we going to do when Alshon Jeffries and Brandon Marshall come to town? That's going to be crazy. Stopping those guys who are on fire, it's going to be tough. But that's what we're going to have to do in order to win. Eagles fans, I know you're pretty frustrated, but the positive here, the Eagles still can control their own destiny. If they win next week, the Eagles have an opportunity to go to the playoffs. Hopefully, the Green Bay Packers are beating the crap out of the Cowboys right now. That's going on while I'm taping right now. So hopefully the Green Bay Packers have won, because that would be nice. But I'm Gayle Saunders, Eagle Sessions, SkinnyPools.com, and I'll see you guys next week.